Alright tubes, what is going on? We got something pretty interesting here for you today. We're actually going to be working on the cap of my truck. And what I'm going to show you guys is how to replace one of these locking T-handles. Now the reason we're going to be replacing it is pretty simple. I bought this cap on Craigslist and I actually do have a set of keys for it, but unfortunately the lock cylinder in this thing is just totally seized up. Now sometimes there are ways around this, and a lot of times what you can do is you can spray them down with penetrating oil, let them soak a while, and then use the key and a pair of pliers to kind of work them loose. Unfortunately, I tried this and it really just didn't seem to work. I even added some heat and it just really didn't work particularly well. So I've made the decision that I'm just going to replace the whole thing. First step of this job is going to be to spray everything down with some penetrating oil. This thing's been on here for quite some time and everything is pretty corroded, pretty rusted, and is probably not going to be super wanting to come apart. So we're going to spray everything down as good as we can here. Next, we'll remove both screws that hold the latch to the hatch. In the case of this truck, we have 2 screws. Now some older vehicles might actually have rivets holding the latch on, in which case you'll have to drill the rivets out. But fortunately the one that I'm taking out here, as well as the new one I'm going to be installing, both come with screws, so we don't have to worry about that. Now if you're really lucky at this point, you can just get these things to come apart, because there was a point in time where there was nothing really actually holding these things on other than, like, you know, a slight interference fit. But I think at this point in time everything is so galled up and just fused together, and these parts, I can tell they're like pot metal, and I think they're actually going to break if I really try to put any force on them. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm actually going to cut it off right below this little plate here. This plate here is actually spinning independent of the lock, so if I can get everything below that off, I should be able to slide the plate off and then pull this whole latch out. Alright, so that worked exactly as intended, and now this part just pulls right out. And what that leaves us with is this end here. Now what we have to decide here is what exactly we want to salvage and what we want to just replace. Originally I hadn't planned on replacing any of those components, so the new T-handle that I ordered only came with the T-handle itself and no other hardware. So what I have to decide now is, do I want to try and salvage any of this? Should I just try and fabricate new parts, or should I just wait a few days and order new ones? Now as it turns out, I did a little bit of research, and these parts, for whatever reason, are actually not available on the internet at all. I guess this is just an obsolete method of latching that nobody really uses anymore. When I think about it, most of the new trucks I see with caps on them, they are using the style where you have one latch on the corner there and then one latch on the other side here, as opposed to one in the center, and I guess that's just the newer way of doing it. I don't know if they figure that it's more secure or more cost effective, but whatever the case may be, that is kind of what I've been seeing lately. But in either case, I think this is just going to be one of those times where the decision's been made for me, and like it or not, I'm just going to have to fabricate a new one of these. Now this piece is actually kind of interesting, and I didn't understand how it worked before, but now that I see the back of it, I understand what's going on here. The cam here and this little backing plate, we can call it, or spacer, they're actually all one piece. So the cam actually has a shaft that goes through the back of it, and then it's held onto it with this little C-clip in here. Now having the crank attached to the backing plate like that is important, because that's what prevents the crank from just sliding off the shaft if you try to pull the door open when it's locked. However, this particular method of doing it does add a little bit of complexity to the job as far as fabricating a new part would go. So my plan is to fabricate a new crank, but to figure out a different method of securing it. I think instead of attaching it to the backing plate, which is screwed to the door, I think we'll just figure out a way to either directly attach it to the shaft, or figure out some kind of a collar or set screw or some other system to just keep it from sliding off. But in either case, we're going to need to fabricate a new crank before we can do any of this, so let's go ahead and do that. Alright, so at this point I think we got everything we need to get this thing reassembled. Of course we got our T-handle and associated hardware, and then we got our original backing plate, we got our fabricated piece here, and then these are some washers that we might end up using as spacers. I have them just in case we need them. And then this is my solution for keeping that crank locked onto the shaft. I actually found this in my box of electrical equipment. It was just something I had lying around, but basically all it is a glorified shaft collar. If I didn't have one of these, I would have went and ordered one of them online most likely. But in case anyone does need an actual shaft collar, I'll leave a link to one in the description so you guys can find that. So the first thing we want to take a look at is we want to figure out which way is going to be closed and which way is going to be open for our lock cylinder. Now you can really do whatever you want. I guess it's a matter of whatever looks right to you. But in my opinion, I feel like this should be our closed position, and then when it's open it would be up and down. It looks right to me that if it's closed you got a better line with everything parallel. So we're going to call this our closed position when this thing's parallel. Once we've got that all figured out, we can take our backing plate, we can install that. And we'll get both screws in there, and we can tighten these up all the way. This shouldn't need to come out again. And that should leave this thing nice and secure in here. Next we can go ahead and install the crank. Now I'm actually going to put some washers on before I put the crank on. And the reason for that is that I think once the rivets are installed, the head of the rivets might stick out enough that without the washers to act as a spacer, they might end up running into this backing plate and making it so that it can't spin all the way. Now as far as the actual positioning of this, right now it doesn't matter. You can put it on either way. Then last but not least, we have our shaft collar. Now I'm going to install mine this way. Now the reason I have to do that is because installing it the other way will cause interference between these rods and this little rim on here. However, a normal shaft collar wouldn't have that problem. They're pretty much symmetrical, so you don't even have to think about which way you install it. We'll just tighten down the screw here. And now we got that sitting up there nice and secure. Now what we're ready to do is either bolt or rivet or however we're going to attach these rods to the actual crank. Now this part's very important because this is what actually determines which way you spin will unlock the door. Now what we know is that when the door locks, these rods go out like this. That locks the door because then those rods get hooked on the side of the cap and keep the door from opening. And then when you pull them back in like this, that's what unlocks it. So what we have to look at is currently we have this thing sideways, which we're calling our locked position. So if we take a look at our crank here, as we unlock, we want to hook this to the one that's going to pull it inwards, which in this case is going to be this bottom one here. Now it looks like I'm going to have a bit of a unique problem here. Due to the shaft collar I'm using, it looks like when I go to install my rivet, it's actually going to run into that rim on the collar. So I think what I'm going to have to do here is I'm actually going to have to take this collar off, rivet these parts on, and then slide the collar back on. Alright, so I think that's about going to do it for our latch installation here. We're all riveted in and totally hooked up here, and everything seems to be functioning exactly as it's supposed to. You can spin this and everything rotates nice and freely. The latch is engaged with the sides quite well, and we're feeling pretty sturdy here now. Of course, if we want to, we can turn our key and be all locked up here. So as always here, I just want to thank you guys for watching the video. I certainly hope you guys enjoyed it, and as always, if there's something that wasn't clear or didn't quite make sense to you guys, check out the description, check out the comments, and hopefully that'll maybe answer your question if someone has already had the same question, and if not, leave it down in the comments and I'll be sure to get back to you guys. As always, check the description for some links to some of the products used in this video. And if you're not subscribed, please subscribe for more, and we will see you guys in the next one. Alright, tubes, see you next time.